Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm AmandaMuse, and today we are going to be taking a little walk down memory lane and reacting to videos of my old life in Malaysia. If you're new, first of all, subscribe, hit that bell, hit the notifications because your girl's putting out videos 4 times a week. But also, if you're new, you might not have experienced the version of Amanda that used to live in Malaysia. I'll give you the real short and sweet catch up. Basically, in 2010, I got married to my husband, Dean. He is a pilot, and he took a job in Southeast Asia. So we sold everything we owned and moved to Malaysia. I lived in KL, Kuala Lumpur, for a bit, and then I ended up moving to Penang. And while we were in Penang for about 4.5 years, from 2010 to 2014, we had 2 kids. So my daughter Esmé and my son Jack were both born there. So I really I feel this connection to Malaysia because I started my motherhood journey there. I found my purpose with my social media life and my social media job. It's basically where all of this started, and I thought it would be kind of fun to just, watch some of these old videos. True story is that I actually find it kind of challenging to watch videos from my life in Malaysia because I feel like painful nostalgia. Very painful nostalgia. It hurts me because I long for those days, even though I know if I were to ever move back, it would not be the same. It would be a completely different existence, but it was just such a special time, and I'm so grateful for my life when I was there. And I love that I have all of this history on YouTube to look back at, vlogs, edited to music, the whole thing. Anyway, enough talking, let's do it. I now need glasses, so that's something new from my Malaysia days. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually recording the screen, so you're going to see the video that I'm watching and the clips that I'm watching. But the first thing I'm going to do is just search, within YouTube, AmandaMuse, Malaysia, and see what comes up. Let's see what some of the first videos are. Okay, so one of my first videos that I ever did that kind of got a little bit of went a little viral on my caliber was the reasons to stay and live in Malaysia. My voice is insane in this video. It's so soft because it's so new, and anyway, you just got to see it for yourself. So let's watch a couple seconds of it here.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to AmandaMuse. So today I thought we would do a little video about reasons that I love living in Malaysia. A little while back, I did a video about 5 things that I miss about Canada. If you haven't seen it, I will link below. We have Tesco here as well. And Tesco, for any North American viewers, is basically like a Walmart. You can get your food, you can also get some clothing. So it's really great, and they have a huge variety, and there's a few different types of grocery stores you can go to get the products that you need. If you want to lead a really cheap lifestyle, it's totally doable. I mean, you can go out to the stalls, like these hawker stalls are called, where it's basically a fellow or lady.
Hawker stalls. Oh, I miss those days. It's sometimes painful for me to watch my old editing. I'm like, oh, but I was learning.
It's none of this, oh, it was nice to meet you, take care. Oh, no. You exchange numbers, you make a date, you make play dates, you get together with them like ASAP because you...
I know what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about meeting people and how it's interesting that the 3 things that I chose in this video were shopping, which was a Tesco, because we went to Tesco all the time. The other thing was hawker stalls, eating food, because I swear that's what everybody talks about in Malaysia. The food is incredible. There's 3 different distinct, and others, but 3 distinct cultures that sort of make up this Malaysian experience, which is Malay, then you have the Chinese, and then you have the Indian. And those 3 different cultures come in and merge and create this beautiful array of foods, and it was a wonderful experience in that sense. And then the other thing is making friends. So as an expat living in an expat community, and I'm not even sure if that term expat is a welcome term. I don't know if it's passé at this point, but you're essentially from somewhere else, and you tend to find people in these communities, and they were very welcoming, and it was very fun. It was just very exciting from people from all walks of life, but something that I found was a common thread amongst people who are willing to uproot themselves and leave their home country, which, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but it takes a lot of courage to do something like that. They tend to be people who live on the fringe and are just really interesting to be around. So not all the time, but I met some really interesting people that I hold very near and dear to my heart. So that was like my first video. It actually appeared on the news. It was like on a TV station in Malaysia, which was a big deal, very exciting. This next video is called Farewell Malaysia, I'll Miss You. And this one, this was my last vlog. I had a going away party with my community of women and moms and kids, and they had bought me a present, and it was just like, it was hard to edit. It's still hard for me to watch.
Trying not to get too sad, you know?
There's my best friend, Amy. Can we just pause and say how cute my chubby baby is? First of all, I've got like pretty long blonde hair. Jack is so chunky. And Amy, I actually haven't seen her since 2014. And so it's been a really long time. We try our best to connect as much as possible through video chats, but it's hard. She's in the UK.
So, yeah, I've known Amanda for my whole time and Amanda's the one that introduced me to Penang Malaysia and baby groups. Personally, I just want to thank you.
I'm already welling up. This is why I can't watch this stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, just it just what we were saying about you. Oh, really love what you were saying. So.
So there was this, I'm trying to break it up so I don't burst into tears here, but there was this beautiful jewelry designer, and probably still is. I think his name is Jonathan Young. I might be getting that name wrong. Anyway, so he has the beautiful shop in Penang, in Georgetown, and it became a little tradition amongst the group that I was with, which was called Penang Mamas, and a friend of mine actually started that blog, and if I'm not mistaken, I think she sold it when she left. Anyway, she's back in the States now, but as women would go, we would all pitch in $20 or something, and we would get our friend a little token, like a little chain with a little design from him. And the piece that I have it's a replica of coral. It's just beautiful. So that's what that is. So I had bought a few of these for people who had left, but obviously never picked one up for myself. Jesus! I didn't even mean to cry in this, but like I said, I didn't even mean to cry. I didn't bring a tissue. Such a special time. And I put that sad music.
Can you tell that her and Jack are really
Oh.
My goodness. Here's some babies from my first playgroup in Penang. Like, of all of these babies, just this one is left.
Okay, this photo, me holding both kids, that was the day that we left our home. So we had lived in a condo, like an apartment, for the longest was there, and we left that because it was like a weird turnover from when we were leaving to when we needed a place, and it was kind of got messy at the end. Like, if you fall down a rabbit hole and start watching some of these vlogs, you'll see it was kind of stressful for me, for sure. But Dean had to work, and I had to move everything into this other apartment while we were in this transition period, and I hadn't quite gotten rid of everything yet. Like I still had a bunch of baby stuff and toys because, as you know, at this age they were like one, not even 1 and 3 in a bit. It was like, you know, you still have all the things and the walkers and the toys, and I needed to get through the day to day before we actually left. So much of that stuff I sold. There's a great woman there who does these garage sales for other members of the expat community and whoever really wants to buy stuff. And then I gave away a bunch of things, a lot of my maternity clothes, and then I had a ton of stuff at the very end. I mean, boy, it is not for the faint at heart to do these big international moves, and I'm just going to throw it out there and say that having children and doing this was very hard to leave because there was so many connections that I had to my community that I knew I wasn't going to have when I got back to Canada.
First, thumbnails that you take for my baby shower. By princess request, we're back. Check out these shoes, guys. Those are the cutest shoes I ever did see.
Dang. But I always say, I see a handkerchief, we're going to use that. I always say, though, that if you're lucky enough to feel this way from a time and place in your life, you're doing something right. Now, let me get myself together here. This is ridiculous. This next video is called Welcome to the Jungle. And occasionally, in the early days, Dean would film some really nice stuff because, as a creator, it's hard to capture the moments, especially when you're a mom of littles. So there was this botanical gardens that we would walk in frequently. But it's funny now remembering these moments. Like you had to go early in the morning or late into the evening because it was too hot midday to just walk around a jungle. But you would see macaw monkeys, you would see dusky leaf monkeys, all sorts of things. We saw a scorpion once on a baby group. We were walking our babies in the morning and I was like, oh my God. And there, 6 of us moms with all of our strollers and a scorpion on the path. I mean, just wild stuff. Oh my God, it seems like such a different life, honestly.
Good morning, everyone. We're coming at you today from the beautiful botanical gardens. You might hear some craziness in the distance, but otherwise it's absolutely gorgeous in here. It's super humid, so we're all a little bit shiny, but we thought we'd get up early today and be active. So we're starting our weekend off on a good foot. Say hi to everyone, Esmé. It's actually quite cool in here too, which is really, really nice. Keeps the temperature at bay. Lovely. Ooh, there's a monkey in the tree over there. It's always exciting in the garden.
This guy running by looking back at Dean is so funny. You could tell from my mannerisms and the way I'm speaking that I'm like nervous and a little bit embarrassed because this was like right when I started making videos. But can we just like have a moment of how good I look postpartum? Damn, those milky boobies were doing me good. Oh, there's a monkey.
Look at this.
What kind of face is that?
Where's the pufferfish?
Pufferfish? Probably pretty late. It's like 12:30 on Thursday night. Yeah, she went to bed at 8 o'clock and now it's midnight. She thinks it's time to start today. But it's not, is it? It's still nighttime. Everyone's sleeping.
But I didn't want to sleep.
He thought he could be free and
Oh my God, there's a gecko on my ceiling. There were geckos everywhere.
we're still awake.
What are you going to do today?
I don't know, what do you feel like doing? That's a nice hot cup of coffee.
Let's watch some cute baby montage.
You almost got me. Those crunchy toes are everything. I am on a freaking roll, people. I just filmed 4 videos and I'm whispering because, as usual, Sidekick is attached. Look at that baby go. Hey guys. So, I'm on my way to my hair appointment.
Okay. Like, has nothing changed? People, I am nothing if not consistent. August 1st, 2014. Well, this was not August 1st. This was July 31st. Your girl's going for a haircut. I have always prioritized my hair. I love getting my hair done. And there was only one stylist that was recommended in this community to do Caucasian women's hair. It's weird for me to say that out loud, but the texture and type of hair of a Caucasian person's hair versus an Asian person, South Asian, I'm sure it's different amongst all of them, but it's different how they cut, the texture, how they apply color. And so I'd had a lot of bad experiences where people kept just kept cutting it, like thinking you could cut out the wave. It was very traumatic. So I grew my hair quite long. It was too long. Anyway, I got a haircut and I went blonde. It was fun.
It's kind of in a fun little part of town. It's all these temples, Burmese temples and a Thai temple. So I'm kind of feeling the sense of regret. Oh my god, I don't know if I should do it. We'll see. I'm starting to panic a little bit because I don't want to walk out of there with orange hair because that will suck major suckage. But speaking of sucking, Jack is topped up. Everybody has milk and toys and treats and a babysitter, and my husband's napping, a lucky bastard. Wish me luck. Alright, so this is before dark roots, ombre-ish tips. Here goes.
Oh, I missed that. When you would go get your hair blow dried, because you could do this thing in Penang where you get just a wash and a blow dry. Oh, you would sit in a chair and they would wash your hair and it looked like a mustard bottle filled with shampoo and like a little bit of water to give it like that consistency. And you would get this head massage and they would blow dry it and it would be so fabulous. But a lot of times, especially with long hair, the hairstylist would be doing it and then like another one would come in and blow dry it. It was incredible. Oh, this was funny.
Hi. Does it? What do you think?
Jack did not like it. He cried and cried, and then I whipped out a boob and he breastfed and we were all good. But that was a moment. I think I cried. I was like, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Oh my God. So many fun memories. So just to wrap this up with a little bow, when I started my YouTube channel, Esmé was about 6 months old, maybe 8. I had been watching a lot of parenting creators, mommy YouTubers, and documenting their children and what they were eating and the developmental things. And so I started when Esmé was a baby, and then, putting out content here and there, really building this community. And then when we decided to have Jack, he showed up. I documented my whole pregnancy. I had started doing some vlogging here and there, but it was a little overwhelming because it can be scary to share your life like that, especially if you go back like 8 years, people weren't sharing their lives in such a vulnerable way. There was still a lot of perfection out there. So I felt really like, oh, I can't do this, like burdened by that comparison, right? And then when we decided that, we were going to be moving and leaving Penang, Malaysia, I thought I need to document this. So that whole process, us leaving, we sold everything, moved into 2 different apartments. Then we traveled through Phuket, Thailand. We went to Boracay in the Philippines. We went to Hong Kong, ended up going to Disney and stuff like that. Made it back to Canada just before Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. Lived in Alberta, in Lethbridge, Alberta, with my in-laws for significantly longer than we had planned. It turned into 9 months living in Alberta, at which point Dean got a job in Hamilton, Ontario, and we ended up back in Canada, which kind of blows my mind, come to think of it, because that was not the plan. We were moving to the Middle East or Vietnam. Those were our 2 options. But then just life changed and this opportunity came up in Canada and Dean took it. And what a blessing. truthfully, because us deciding to stay in Canada, moving to Southern Ontario, which PS, my dad lives in Toronto, so we were super close to Dad, and I have family in Ontario. So back in the hood, we moved to a new city, of course, but I was able to build and create a job actually out of this. So at the time, people were starting to create this like influencer stuff and marketing, and I already had everything established, and I partnered up with an amazing agency in Toronto, and it changed my life. I'm trying not to cry like so many times in this video, but honestly, it changed my life. And I think sometimes it's important to go back and reflect on how far you've come. Dang it, I feel like when I start crying these days, I have a really hard time to stop crying because of just the state of the world, but I'm grateful for my little family, the adventures that we've had, for the adventures that will come again. And I'm honestly so grateful to each and every one of you for being here and showing up and sending love my way, because you doing that, I mean, I have a job. It's just, all of it is so good. Okay, I feel like I need to go have a good cry. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.